It's the champ, Shannon the Cannon, two-time heavyweight champion of the world. And you're watching Sports Icons. Subscribe. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Champ.
Right, thank you, Cinderman and Mr. Arshad and everybody else who's been sending me this link for the latest developments on Luis Ortiz turning down Anthony Joshua, just when I thought that we were pretty much done with this subject. But as it turned out, the latest developments are, and I'll put an article in the description box so you guys go read it for yourself, just so you don't have to take my word for it like every video. Now, apparently Luis Ortiz was offered $5 million, but he wanted $10 million. So what he was asking for was 20 times his highest ever purse. Now, Luis Ortiz, his highest ever purse was $500,000, $500,000, which he got against Deontay Wilder, where he lost that fight. Yes, there were some controversial moments. Deontay Wilder got some valuable seconds and all this kind of thing from the medical team referee, etc., etc. But ultimately, the result of the fight was Luis Ortiz didn't just lose, but got knocked the hell out. Okay, so he got $500,000 to take on Deontay Wilder, who had one title when Luis Ortiz was undefeated. Okay? Now Luis Ortiz has a loss on his record for a couple of journeyman since is an undercard fighter, now suddenly thinks he's worth $10 million. Now, first of all, nothing wrong with asking for $10 million. Ask for 20, ask for 100. Don't mean you're going to get it. But you know, there kind of comes a point where you kind of have to draw the line, where you have to think to yourself, okay, so I'm 40 years old, this is Luis Ortiz, I'm 40 years old, how many more fights do I have left? What opportunities am I going to get? Okay, so I'm guaranteed a rematch with Deontay Wilder, apparently. How much am I going to get for Deontay Wilder? Knowing full well that in the first fight, the judges were having Wilder winning that fight up until the stoppage, which was absolutely ludicrous. Knowing full well that the referee and the medical team helped Wilder. So pretty much knowing that the PBC are not exactly on your side. So in a rematch, they're still not going to be on your side, Luis. Okay, they're just not. So his highest ever payday was $500,000. Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, offered him 10 times that amount. Is Luis Ortiz going to make $5 million anywhere else? This is $1 million more than what they offered as a final offer to Dillian Whyte. Now granted, okay, yes, okay, well, there's varying reports as to how much Big Baby Jarrell Miller was getting. Okay, some say $8 million. I think that's what Barry Hearn said, that potentially Big Baby Jarrell Miller burned up by testing positive for those 3 banned substances. Others say that, yes, it could have been 8 million, but it was a guaranteed 4 million, rising to 8 million, depending on the gate, depending on how many extra subscriptions that the fight with DAZN would have got, etc. Some say 6.5 million. There's various reports, but whatever the hell it is, Big Baby Jarrell Miller has a better resume than Luis Ortiz. Big Baby Jarrell Miller does not have a loss on his record. And Big Baby Jarrell Miller is, in fact, part of DAZN, Matchroom Boxing. Or was, I'm presuming that he's now been fired, right? But anyway, I mean, regardless, $5 million, I mean, did they even try to negotiate? Did they say, okay, so we want 10, you're offering 5, why don't we meet halfway, 7.5? If we can fill out the arena, bearing in mind 17,000 have already sold, we're going to need, what is it, another 4,000 or something? And then the thing's sold out anyway. But Luis Ortiz is a credible opponent, that's for sure. He is 40 years old. How many fights do you have left? Don't know. How much are you going to get for a rematch with Deontay Wilder that apparently he's been guaranteed anyway? We don't know. So for me, I think $5 million, he should have took that. If that was a once-off, this is the final offer, $5 million. We ain't going any higher. In my opinion, where else are you going to go? Now, regardless of how many times I say, how many times other people say that, well, Luis Ortiz had 5 weeks, it was 6 weeks had he accepted it in the first place, of a training camp. Okay, and they're saying that, well, that's not enough time. Even though I've told you that Luis Ortiz only had 5 weeks for Deontay Wilder. So why does he need more time for Anthony Joshua? Is Anthony Joshua a more dangerous opponent? Does Luis Ortiz view Anthony Joshua as more dangerous? Do the fans view Anthony Joshua as more dangerous, as in the Wilder fans? For those who are saying that Luis Ortiz should get this amount. So how does Luis Ortiz get a loss on his record by knockout, fight 3 somewhat journeymen or gatekeeper, whatever you want to call them, and then demand $10 million? I said nothing wrong with asking for it, but how do you legitimately think that you're worth 10 million? Would you get 10 million fight anyone else, or is it just because it's Anthony Joshua? Even 5 million, you wouldn't get 5 million to fight anyone else. If your highest ever payday in a world title fight was $500,000, where else are you going to make that kind of money? Wilder has a fight lined up right now with Dominic Breazeale. What if Dominic Breazeale chins Wilder? That's your rematch out the window, isn't it? Because I'm pretty sure if Dominic Breazeale gets his title from Deontay Wilder, and it is a long shot, let's be real, he's going to be quite willing to fight Joshua next for undisputed because he wants that rematch with Joshua. Dominic Breazeale, listen, he's going to ask for a lot of money, but I don't believe he's going to price himself out. And is he likely to give Wilder a rematch? Probably not, because he doesn't have to. It's a mandatory defence. So Luis Ortiz is playing a little bit of a gambling game here. Is he listening to Al Heyman, the PBC? Are they in fact turning his head? Did they turn the head of Deontay Wilder? Have they been turning the head of Errol Spence? Have they been doing all this just to try and keep in-house fights? Potentially, why not? It's a question that's worth asking. But either way, $5 million is not a lowball offer. When your highest ever payday was $500,000, that is 10 times more money than you have made in your career. 10 times. But you wanted 20 times. As I said, listen, nothing wrong with asking for it, but ultimately, yes, he is a last-minute replacement. It is more time to prepare for Joshua than what it was with Wilder, but ultimately, he is coming in to save the show, isn't he? So yes, he should be paid accordingly. If Miller was getting X amount, Luis Ortiz, you would imagine, should be getting X amount. And Luis Ortiz will probably have a slight advantage in this one, whereas Luis Ortiz is not only always in the gym, apparently, even Deontay Wilder confirmed this, but he's southpaw and he's used to fighting orthodox fighters. Joshua is an orthodox fighter. Joshua's not used to fighting southpaw. He's been training for big baby Jarrell Miller. Who's at the advantage in this one, really? Bearing in mind, Luis Ortiz, 40 years old. As I said, how many more fights does he have? Who knows? Who knows? But listen, he's an undercard fighter. You got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. Listen, everyone else, you decide. Is Luis Ortiz worth 10 million? Is he a fool for turning down 5? You let me know. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.